lets Homer do whatever he wants in the story, it seems. So Indians can't do anything when bad situations arise, can't defend themselves. Not really a good thing to be putting into the minds of people watching the episode. Ugly men. Homer and groundskeeper Willie. Completely victimized by the media. Wives. Marge seen as a helpless victim, being dragged around by Homer. Men when it comes to video games and violence. Bart is shown to be weak and will do anything just for 5 minutes to play that video game. It's violent. Yeah, men love violence. Okay, women are shown to be victimized in many different ways, but the main one is Ashley, plays the victim card once she is sexually harassed by Homer, gets all the protesters, doesn't call the police. Fat people. Homer is overweight, and he is weak when it comes to candy, and even eats all the fish under the sea because they're in front of him. Has no self-control. Nerds. Nerds! Professor Frink has his candy that's in a magnetic field easily stolen by Homer, who is not really smart, so I guess he's shown to be a bit helpless. Scottish people, poor Scottish people. Groundskeeper Willie is shown as weak enough to want to tape couples in their cars. Says all Scottish people do it. Hicks. Yes, Hicks is a derogatory term, but he is shown to be stupid and weak because he's easily tricked into saying that he has a sex farm, even though he just said that I don't have a sex farm. But he's easily tricked by Godfrey Jones. Public access television does not know the meaning of the word entertainment, so that's sort of victimized to me. Are the situations of the week shown to be justified, natural, or normal? Actually, the only thing that isn't shown to be natural or normal is the dominance of the feminists, because Homer asks Ashley why she doesn't know her place as a second-class citizen. So that's pretty sad, that all these Scottish people and ugly men and women and the media are just all shown that this is completely normal, and at the end of the episode there's no repercussions for any of this. So that's pretty sad. What does the narrative suggest today's important social concerns and issues? Feminism, for one. Ashley is a feminist and immediately turns to the help of other feminists when she's sexually harassed, but never bothers to report the crime to the authorities. Radical feminism ends up hindering more than helping in the narrative. Sexual harassment is an important issue and people should protest about it. Not shown to be serious, kill the cops though. Protesters are shown in a negative light in the episode, and shows that people who protest do not usually have a positive impact on the situation. They just harass, because the protesters just harass Homer. Too much power to media. Way too much power to media. Bart and Lisa say that they were raised by television, and that everyone just relies on the secondhand information instead of actively seeking the truth from Homer, who's actually telling the truth. I mean, Ashley's telling the truth too. She thinks she was sexually harassed. But the legal system, the fact that the cops are never called in the entire episode about harassment, and that Marge says that the courts do not work anymore, shows that the lack of faith people have in the legal system, or the flaws in the legal system itself, is a huge issue in modern society. What sides does the narrative take on social issue? The narrative criticizes liberals and feminists, which I find very interesting, because I thought that The Simpsons was a pretty liberal show, but I guess it just satire critiques everybody. So they're shown as overdramatic protesters who do not think to actually get justice, do not listen to any other people, make a shantytown in front of someone's house, protest, and then be harassing towards Homer, even though the problem that they're harassing was harassment. Yeah, they harass Homer, but because the problem they're harassing is sexual harassment. Think about that. That's a little messed up. The narrative criticizes the overwhelming dominance of the media. Shows that the media thinks truth is much less important than how popular a story gets, and after Ashley's sexual harassment claim goes on to rock bottom, the story gets manipulated into only portraying the side of the story that would resonate with audiences the most. Shows how people whose lives have been negatively affected by media will still believe anything they hear on television, like Homer, who believes that Groundskeeper Willie is a bad person even though kind of saved his butt. So Media and values. Now we're going to talk about 3 events and their aspects of life, implications, values, social problems, solutions, and alternate perspectives. The first is Ashley shows Lisa how easy it is to control men by waving a violent video game cartridge in front of Bart's face. The aspect of life shown are the gender roles in society, being in charge. Implications. Men are easily tamed by women and will do anything for video games or violence. Values. Feminism, control, power, dominance. As a social problem, men could be easily manipulated by women into doing things that may harm themselves or others. Bart goes into the wall for a video game. As a solution to a social problem, women are no longer second-class citizens and are now able to keep their men in their place, which is a good thing, I guess. Alternative perspective. Women are now the dominant gender after years of struggle. But do women take advantage of men's weaknesses? Something to ponder. Alright, a new event. Protesters crowd around Homer's house accusing him of sexual harassment and start following him everywhere. The aspects of life are harassment, wellness, treatment of women. The implications is that it's not okay to sexually harass a woman, and the appropriate retribution is to harass the person that harassed the poor, helpless woman. Values, sexuality, aggression, safety, feminism. As a social problem, protesters could think that it is okay to ruin the life of someone who committed a crime instead of being rational and contacting the authorities. As a solution to a social problem, making sure a crime gets attention from the general public will raise awareness of sexual harassment. And an alternative perspective, does committing sexual harassment or accusation of committing sexual harassment justify the complete and total loss of privacy someone receives, constantly being received and followed by demonstrators? And does protesting do anything helpful to the situation? Things to ponder. Rock Bottom airs Homer's interview in a way that makes him out to be a horrible pervert. Aspects of life are portrayal of people, media dominance, entertainment, social commentary, representation of people. Implication. The media can spin webs of lies for people to eat up and they will believe it. Values, sexuality, dominance, aggression, faith in media. As a social problem, Americans will believe anything that they hear. As a solution to a social problem, people will actively try to seek justice for those who have been victim to a crime. What a solution, except that they don't really call the cops, so... alternative perspective. Are tabloids harmful to the people who are being portrayed falsely? Does the media pick up a story too quickly without actively seeking the truth? Things to ponder. Representation of people. First person I'm going to talk about is Homer Simpson, an adult blue-collar Caucasian male who is completely demonized. He just reinforces the stereotype that blue-collar Caucasian males are dumb, overweight people that don't do anything to help society and are even criminals. He opens up the candy bar. He damages property. Damaging property. Anyways, okay, so Marge Simpson is an adult status borrower, Caucasian female, and reinforces the stereotype that women are not as capable as men to do work, they cannot do much more than support their husbands, and that the judgment created is that women are just there to be eye candy, I guess, and do the work at house. Housework, that is. And she is the main decision maker of the house, though. That's what it's shown. So I guess it's a little bit positive. That's stretching it, though. Alright, so Lisa Simpson is a blue-collar Caucasian female child. And she is shown to be supportive of the feminist movement, plays music, shown to love candy, not very appreciative of her parents, kind of rude, likes Ashley's because she's a feminist, and able to control Bart, and helps come up with the idea to broadcast Homer's truth in public access television. So the judgment is both negative and positive. It's negative in the fact that she says the television completely has raised her, and that she's like a candy lover, and that she's kind of rude to her parents. But it's positive in the way that she's a feminist and she stands up for herself, and it's positive that she's shown to be smarter than her male counterpart Bart Simpson, who is a male Caucasian blue collar, because of his father, tweener. and he will do anything for a violent video game. And he's unappreciative of his parents, shown to love skateboarding and swearing, and does not think that women should be more than second-class citizens. He doesn't understand why anyone would touch a girl's butt, because that's where cooties comes from. Ew. Ugh. Bleh. Anyways, alright. He's one of the person that tells Homer to tell the truth in public access television, and I guess the judgment in that sense is sort of positive, but mostly negative. He just says that boys just don't care, they're deviant, they don't care about women, they're rude, they're obnoxious. Now Ashley Grant, who is a female, Caucasian, presumably middle-class young adult. As a representative of this person in society, she is shown to know how to completely dominate men, which is a good thing, I guess, for her at least, but is also shown to play the victim card too easily when it comes to being sexually harassed by Homer. She's really smart, she's a grad student, but then she just doesn't understand how to handle the situation properly. So, it just makes them seem a little overpowered and too easy to protest instead of actively seek help. So, I guess it reinforces the stereotype of the feminist who just like feminism but doesn't actually do anything except say, I want to be equal. Now we get to the most tragic of the representations, which is Apu Nahasipi Mabadalan. Poor Apu. As a representative of a convenience store worker and an adult Indian male, Apu is shown to be a helpless victim and a betrayer. Helpless victim because Homer is opening up all the chocolate bars and Apu is just like, if you do not stop, I will ask you nicely, and if you do not stop, I will have to ask you nicely again. He doesn't call the cops, he doesn't do anything active, he just complains, really, which is not good. And he betrays Homer. He is shown to be one of Homer's true friends, yet sells him out for money. Which I guess it makes sense. I mean, Homer did steal from his store, but still. Very negative representation of Indians and convenience store workers. Horrible. Salesman. The salesman, oh, what a sneaky little bum. He is shown on screen for about 30 seconds, but he lies the entire time, says that wax lips are the candy of 1,000 uses, yet can't think of more than one use. And then at the end of the scene, Homer, he still takes all the wax lips. So it just shows how strangely manipulative salespeople are, and negative, and reinforces that stereotype. Alright, so now we're going to talk about symbolic and technical codes. Technical codes. When Homer tries to get the gummy Venus de Milo off of Ashley's butt, we get a point of view shot from Ashley's eyes. Well, technically from the storyboard, but you know what I mean. Ashley sees him touching her butt, and then the camera tilts up and she sees him drooling. So it shows that Ashley is not actually just making this up. She actually thinks that she was touched. So it's just showing the audience the misunderstanding and sets up the rest of the episode. When groundskeeper Willie is shown on rock bottom, there's a sequence of him walking into Godfrey Jones's office with a videotape. Then, when he turns to face the camera, dun dun dun! It just zooms in on him. Frequent shots, chaotic, shows him as sinister. Total code of that shows him as sinister, and even gets Homer to believe he's a bad person, even though groundskeeper Willie saved his butt. Symbolic codes. Alright, when Bart and Lisa come down the stairs the night after they were babysat by Ashley, their eyes are not fully opened. They're walking slowly and clutching their stomachs. This is body language. They're full or sick from eating all the candy, but they let out a groan when they find out that they're supposed to eat more candy from Homer. Ooh. There's a character at the candy convention who's demonstrating the candy. Big glasses, neatly combed hair, tacky clothing, shirt tucked into pants. Is it a nerd? Yes. Is it a scientist? Yes, that's Professor Frink. Total codes. And when Homer takes Ashley home from babysitting his night outside, Homer sexually harasses Ashley at night, showing the only representation of night in the episode, besides the sundown part. But still. And it's when the worst thing happens, so that's a total code. And Next, I'm going to be talking about houses of production.